Okay, hi you guys. So you all liked my last thing that I asked about if I was feeling bold, so I was gonna tell you guys a little bit about what Tourette syndrome actually is. You'll have to excuse how I look right now. I'm about to go outside and mow a lawn. So, basically, what Tourette syndrome is like here's the exact definition for it. It says it is a neurological disorder characterized by repetitive, stereotyped, involuntary movements and vocalizations, which are also known as tics. Usually, it's hard to spot Tourette syndrome because, like, it can range from clearing your nose or clearing your throat or facial grimacing. And usually it's carried in family lines, but when it decides to present itself, it can also vary. The most common time that Tourette's chooses to present itself is when a child is around the ages 6, 7, somewhere around in there. But they can be much younger, or like myself, they can go years without it being diagnosed. The average onset of Tourette's is usually between the age of 3 and 9 years old. But there are cases where it'll go farther down. And it doesn't always, run in the family line, I guess. It can present itself at any given time. Sorry. But what most people don't understand is that, even though there's this syndrome that not a lot of people know about, we are still people. And Tourette syndrome doesn't actually involve a whole lot of cussing. It's a very small percentage of people with a special kind of Tourette syndrome that's called, don't hold my pronunciation on this, coprolalia, but it's where they use they'll say inappropriate words or make inappropriate gestures. And a very small percentage of people with Tourette's actually have that. But that's the stereotype with which everyone seems to go with is, oh, well, you have Tourette syndrome, so you should be cussing all the time. That's not necessarily how it works. But either which way, whether it's people who are making inappropriate comments and things, and just because you make inappropriate comments doesn't mean you have Tourette syndrome. The people that do, have the inappropriate comments and spurts like that, they don't appreciate being stared at and everything. They know what they do. It's not like, we're completely oblivious to the fact that it happens. We tick. Because life's a twitch. Haha. I'm punny, but no. But honestly, it's just a disorder. We can't help it. We were born with it. When it decides to present itself is when it decides to present itself. People with TS really don't like it when you stare or make funny jokes or comments, just because for your guys' cheap laugh at, that's how we live. You guys get to go home, and once your joke's over, it's over for you guys. We live it. It's just how it is. What I do is I have a bunch of different tics and things, which just so happens today's a bad day for them, as you guys can probably tell. But this is my life. And even with this being newly diagnosed, I couldn't laugh about it, I couldn't joke about it. I could do it whenever I first got it, because it was just what everybody did. But it gets to a point where it's not funny, and it interferes with everyday life, which is what some people, I think, find hard to understand, is that when we go home, it doesn't turn off. And when I keep referring to we, I mean other people with Tourette syndrome. Some of us cope with it in a lot of different ways. This year particularly, I started out coping with it pretty well, and I haven't taken it very easily since then. But what I think I would like people to take with Tourette syndrome is that it's not a joke. I mean, it's not a funny matter. I mean, yes, it might be funny for some of you to watch and think it's hilarious, but it's how we live. And tics range from throat clearing to head jerking to vocalizations to just a bunch of different things. There's not really a most common tic or anything, just because there's so many different options. Well, I can't say options because that implies that you choose. But there are so many different forms of what can happen or go on that it's hard for people to really grasp the true concept of what it is. But I'm sure if all of this goes well, I will post a video about, what it's like maybe to live a day in the life with me. Just like walking around town or something. Because I go to town, I can't walk through Walmart without getting stared at or pointed at or some comment coming my way. I think what I really want people to realize, though, is that we are still human, although we might not seem like it at times. And, what may seem funny to others actually hurts other people. So, my challenge for you is to take a minute and step out of your life and just think of what it would be like if one day you got dropped into the shoes of somebody with TS. It's not easy. It's most definitely not fun. It's a challenge. But I think if more people knew what it was, then it'd be easier to deal with. If there wasn't as much lack of knowledge over the subject. Because especially I know in, our school, not a whole lot of people know what it is. They think it's a big joke. I know whenever I first started it, that a lot of people thought that I was just doing it for attention. Which is not true. I prefer to fly way under the radar. I don't like to have all the attention directed at me. And honestly, no one, I promise you, no one would fake this. Some of the tics that I do are extremely painful. They're embarrassing. They can't be controlled. That's the bottom line. I wish that they could be. I wish that I could control them, but I don't. But it's a brain thing. It's an imbalance of different chemicals and things in the brain that it just causes me to act and say things different than you. Doesn't mean that you're any better than me or I'm any better than you. I'm not broken. And it's not contagious, so don't worry about catching Tourette's. But it is something that, I would like to share with everybody what it actually is, and so maybe, some of you could actually understand that, while you guys walk around every day and you can make your comments and everything, but this is my life. And I'll end on the note with, even though it may be hard, that I'm going to keep living it because that's all I can do. And there comes a point when it's time for someone to take a stand, and now is my time to take my stand. So, if somebody's different, they might look funny or sound funny, give it an extra thought next time. Maybe they can't help it. They can't help what they do or say or act like, no matter how much they want to. Just, what would you want to happen if it was you? Life's a Twitch. Have a good day. Thanks for the support. Let me know if you guys want me to upload another video later, because I have a challenge for all of you. But thanks for watching. Hope that helped. Bye.